Hello, we've come to Bodium Castle and I'm Marianne.
I'm Tallulah.
I'm Emma and this is another museum without walls.
Bodiam Castle was built from 1380 to 1385. It was built for Sir Edward Dallingridge, who was a soldier of fortune in France and later became part of the court of the King, Richard II. It was built to defend the region in case of French invasion. England and France were in the middle of the 100 Years' War. Bodiam is a perfect example of a late medieval moated castle with impressive towers, formidable walls and a broad moat.
The castle passed through many hands but fell into disuse and disrepair in the 18th century and was left as a picturesque ruin. It became a popular tourist attraction in the 18th century because of its medieval appearance. Today, although the outer walls survive, nothing is left of the inside of the castle.
In 1829, it was bought by a rich politician called John Fuller. He is thought to have bought the castle to prevent it being broken up so that the stone could be reused as building materials.
John Fuller, better known in his lifetime as Mad Jack Fuller, was a philanthropist and patron of the arts and sciences. He purchased and commissioned many paintings from JMW Turner, and he was a sponsor and mentor to Michael Faraday, who became one of the most influential scientists of his day. He was a generous supporter and sponsor of the Royal Institution in London. He gave large loans to the institution and established the Fuller Medal of the Royal Institution.
Fuller must have liked and been interested in Bodiam Castle long before he bought it, because in 1810 he commissioned Turner to produce a watercolour of the castle, along with other picturesque sites in Sussex. The castle is only about 6 miles from his own estate at Rose Hill. Turner's sketchbooks, now in the Tate, include studies of other castles in the nearby area, alongside Bodiam.
As with so many of Turner's early patrons, it is not clear how he and Fuller met. Turner's daughter, Evelina, lived near Hastings, so it is possible that he visited while working for Fuller. Also, one of Turner's friends, William Wells, lived with, but did not marry, Susanna Frail, who had rejected a proposal of marriage from Jack Fuller. It seemed likely that Fuller and Turner were aware of each other through mutual friends, although we cannot know for certain.
We can't show Turner's watercolour because it is in a private collection. However, an engraving was made and is in the British Museum. Bodiam had been the subject of many pictures, particularly as it connected with the Gothic revival in art and literature. However, Turner found a different and original approach to a popular theme. The castle can be seen from across the River Rother. On the left of the image is the Red Lion Inn, now the Castle Inn. In front of the inn, washing is being hung out to dry and a cow is cooling itself in the water. The feeling of heat continues as the castle seems to be seen through a dream-like heat haze. The castle, the subject of this work, relegated to the distance.
In 1810, at about the time that Turner was in Sussex producing sketches for Fuller's watercolours, his patron got himself into trouble. A notorious drunk, Fuller was arrested in Parliament after insulting the Speaker of the House. He did not stand in the next election and never returned to Parliament. Instead, he devoted himself to his varied interests, and in 1811 he created a unique and peculiar pyramid-shaped building as his future mausoleum. You can still visit it in the Church of Thomas a Becket in Brightling.
Later in his life, Turner showed his support for the anti-slavery movement by producing one of his most powerful works, The Slave Ship. This painting shows the captured slaves floating in the sea after having been thrown overboard. It depicts a real incident when the captain of a slave ship, the Zong, ordered 133 people to be thrown into the sea so that insurance payments would be made. However, Fuller was a staunch supporter of slavery. He owned a Jamaican plantation along with the slaves who worked it, which he had inherited from his uncle. In one debate, he claimed that the West Indian slaves lived in better conditions than many people in England. Slave owning was not uncommon in early 19th century Britain, even if slavery was not permitted in Britain itself. For an inspiring and ambitious artist, as Turner was in the early 1800s, it must have been difficult to find patrons who were not connected to the evil practice.
Thank you for watching. We had lots of fun at Bodium Castle.
See you next time.